My name is Maher Abyad, and I'm a Nolimitspreneur.
You're now locked onto another episode of the Nolimitspreneur Podcast, the show that helps you dominate in life and in business to enhance your mindset, confidence, productivity, time management, habits, and goals. And now, your host, Maher Abyad.
Hey, welcome back to another Nolimitspreneur Podcast episode. I'm your host, Maher Abyad. Thank you so much for tuning in again to another amazing episode. Today, I wanted to talk about something which I always talk about, which is time protection, time management. I think this is such an amazing and important topic because our time is so precious, but with what we do in today's society, we waste so much time. We throw time out the window, unfortunately. And in today's podcast episode, I want to go over why time is so important. And I titled this podcast episode, Manage Your Time Like It Was a Block of Cheese, and what that actually means. So as you can imagine and know, our entire lives are bound by time. We have a beginning and an end. And if you think of a block of cheese, one of those rectangular big blocks of cheese that you go to the grocery store and you buy, you've got that beginning and end, and you've got this piece right in the middle that goes the entire way. And what I want to talk about today is about why it's important to use time blocking, to use time protection, and to understand how and the significance of how time relates to our entire life. So as you know, life is a gift. We only get one shot at this. And I don't want any one of you to have regrets later in life. Regrets are the worst thing because you cannot change them. Once time passes, that's it. You're done. It might be too difficult to change something. So the best time to create your life is today, right now. Sure, we could have made mistakes in the past. Sure, we could have done things that we didn't think were right or didn't work out, but that's a learning experience and we keep going. So when you're born, you have a blank slate to create your life. As you get older in your teens, in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, you have a lot of that time to create a perfect life for yourself. So when you get into your 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and hopefully longer, you're able to look back and say, you know what, I lived the life that I wanted to live. So that big block of cheese, what happens is our life every day, what's happening is that block of cheese, there's a little piece that's getting cut off. There's a little piece that's getting cut off. There's a little piece that's getting cut off every single day. And what's happening is if you visualize it over your lifetime, it just shrinks and shrinks and shrinks and shrinks. So that's why it's super important to use this as a reference, because once you can visualize that your life is bound by this block of time, and what everything that you do inside that block dictates your life, your happiness, your sadness, your successes, your wins, your failures. Everything that you do is bound by time and bound by this block. And we don't know how big of a block of time that we have. So that's why it's so important and why time is so precious. Because once you lose it, that's it. It's gone. And you don't know how much more you have. So every day I want you to imagine a piece of that block of cheese disappearing. And why it's so important for you to manage your day to ensure that you're not wasting any time. And you're doing things today that are going to dictate your successes and your wins in the future. Because remember, guys, your future is dictated by what you did today. It's that adage of when's the best time to plant a tree 20 years ago, and the second best time is now. We want to create our futures today. You can't just wake up one day 10 years from now and everything's going to be perfect. This is why one of the self-limiting beliefs that I wrote in the guide, the self-limiting beliefs that are stealing your success away, talks about you saying to yourself, oh, you know what? Now is not the perfect time. Now I'm not ready. Now, I don't have enough time, or now's, I'm not feeling it right now. I don't have enough money right now. When my circumstances change in the future, it doesn't work like that. Because when you get to that future, you're going to still be acting the same way that you're acting right now. Because nothing changes if nothing changes. If you don't change the way you act today, your future is not going to change. So it's really important that you manage your time to the utmost degree. And this is why it's really important to time block your days. As you know, life, society, work, family, friends, everything else in between is always fighting for a piece of your time. Social media, TV. If you don't time block your days, and this is now looking, instead of the big block of cheese now, you're looking at a macro picture. When you do time blocking of your days, you're looking at a micro picture of your days, because now what you're doing is you're creating your perfect life. You're creating that life that you want to live rather than having somebody create that life for you. So the things that you do today fit into that bigger block. Okay? Remember when I was talking about every day you're losing a piece of that piece of cheese in the big block of time? Well, what are you doing today to make sure that you have the most optimal piece of cheese? If you sit down and watch Netflix for the next 2 hours, now you've allocated 2 hours of time that you're never going to get back. That block is now allocated to something. If you go for a run for an hour or go for a walk for an hour, that's a good thing. That's bettering your health. But that's also taking up a block of your time. And if you run an errand, but you sit in traffic for 30 minutes and you just waste that time, that block of time is now gone. So it's really important to always think of the bigger picture and the smaller picture. And this is the absolute secret to help you improve your time management and your productivity. You need to ensure that you're doing the right things for your future, for your life. Are you doing the things today that are going to benefit you tomorrow? So you need to look forward first. This is why you have to have goals. You have to have passions. You have to have a direction. You have to have a North Star. Because once you're able to look forward, you're going to be able to know where you're going. And you're going to be able to take the right steps. If you just wake up and you just live life aimlessly, then how do you know you're going the right way? You book a trip, you book the flights, you book excursions, you wake up the day of the flight, you drive to the airport, you go on the correct flight. The plane flies to the right city. You get there, you do the things that you're meant to do there. You're not just randomly going to some place. You have a plan. You sat down, you created this plan. You were excited to book this trip. That's how you need to book your life trip. Okay? Your life is a trip as well. You're going through the motions. But are you planning it? This is why it's really important to look forward. But then at the same time, you need to look back. Okay? This is the secret. You need to look backwards. Once you look backwards every day at night, you need to assess what you did that day? Did what you do help you move the needle forward? Or did you just throw that piece of cheese block out the window and didn't get any use out of it, didn't get any movement of the needle in your life, in your business? You need to be like a sports team. When a sports team plays a game and at the end of the game, they sit down in the locker room, the coach goes over the video footage and says, hey, you know what? This is what you could have done better. You could have been over here. You could have done that. This pass didn't work because of this. They assess the game. So then that way, next time, they're able to go in and play a better game and improve on themselves. This is why it's really important that you need to look back. You need to look back from today into what, let's say it's evening right now. You want to look back and say, what did I do? How could I have improved my day? Give your day a grade, score it. Are you happy with what you did? Did you waste too much time? Because that's going to allow you to improve yourself for tomorrow. And at the same time, you also want to look back at life. Imagine yourself at 75 right now. Imagine yourself, looking back and saying, this is the life that I want to create. So when you're at, say, 75, work your way backwards. When you're at 75, you're going to say to yourself, okay, this is the perfect life that I want to have. So now this is your present self looking at your future self. And you're saying, okay, you know what? If I'm 20 now, in 50 years, I want to be at this place in my life or at this place in my business. And what that's going to allow you to do is that's going to allow you to take the right steps backwards. Like I said, when you book a flight to a country, you work your way backwards. You have that vision of, okay, I want to arrive there, but now I have to book a hotel. I have to book this. I have to do this. I have to do that. That's exactly how your life needs to be planned out. So you always want to have that grand vision of that bigger macro picture, because that's going to allow you to know where you're going. But at the same time, daily, weekly, monthly, you always want to have those check-ins because you want to make sure that you haven't deviated. Because imagine a straight line. Okay, and then imagine another line connected to that straight line. So it still looks like a straight line, but then imagine one of the lines continuing to go straight, and then the other line starting to deviate. At the beginning, there's not much of a difference between the lines. They're very close together, but over time, what happens is when those lines start deviating, the distance between them gets bigger and bigger. So what happens is the line that was going straight, that was your vision, that was your goal. But the line that's deviating is where you are right now. You've fallen off course. And the longer you fall off course, the harder it is to get back onto course. So I really hope you got some value out of today's podcast episode. I wanted to just record something and give you some content so it would be just like a hit of adrenaline, just a wake-up call, because time is so precious. Time is the thing that we cannot waste. Please subscribe to the Nolimitspreneur Podcast. Share it with friends and family or coworkers or someone that definitely you might think will get some value out of this. And definitely leave a review. I'd really appreciate your support so other people can get the benefit of what I'm trying to share in the Nolimitspreneur Podcast, on my YouTube channel, on my website, in my content. I want you to live your life, not somebody else's life. I don't want you to wake up one day and have regrets. I want you to be able to wake up every morning with enthusiasm, with energy, with happiness. of being able to say, you know what? I'm going to do the things that I want to do today. Because I don't want you to be sad. I don't want you to be depressed. I don't want you to be miserable. I want you to be happy. I want you to enjoy life. I want you to live life to the fullest, because this is the one shot that we get. We only get one opportunity at this. And we don't want to let it slip through our fingers. So I hope you got some value out of today's episode. My name again is Maher Abyad. Thank you so much for joining me on the Nolimitspreneur Podcast. I'll catch you in the next episode.
You've been listening to another quality episode of the Nolimitspreneur Podcast with your host, Maher Abyad. Want to continue to master your mindset? Download the 7 self-limiting beliefs that are stealing your success away guide for free right now at NoLimitsMindset.com.